Hello, so this is a guide for people on how to use Audacity, especially if you're used to using Cool Edit. So this is the main Audacity window that you see when you open up. You can load audio in, don't use file open, but use file import instead. So we can import audio. So I've got a couple of tracks here. I've got a jingle and I've got a music track here. So if I press Control, I can select both at the same time. Click and Control click selects more than one. I can click open and it'll bring it in as two tracks for me. So you can see I've got my song up here and I've got my jingle down here. Now I'd like them the other way up, so I can use this little button down here to move track up or move track to the top. So I'm going to go to the top and there you go, I've got my jingle and now my music. So I just want to play these two one after the other. I've got a couple of ways of doing that. I could select all tracks, go to tracks and then align tracks end to end, and that matches them up, which is nice. Or I can use this little tool here. If I click on this, two arrows, I can then drag and move things around. Now because they're all selected, they move together, which is handy at times. So I might want to select none and then I can just move this to line it up. So I might want to make my music start as the jingle fades. So to hear how that sounds, I can click on this time bar up here. See, there's no seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes up here, and it will play from that point. So that works quite well, the jingle finishing and the track starting. In one of the big things you want to do in your editing software is move around to see things. So we've got scroll bars at the side and at the bottom that lets us move backwards and forwards through it. We've got zoom buttons up here. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can make the entire selection fit the screen. I can select, if I use this tool up here, this was the one that allows me to select. If I click here, I can zoom to that selection and I can fit the project in the entire window again. So these are handy little things for zooming in and out. If you use your mouse, if you're used to using your scroll wheel for your mouse and Cool Edit, if you press the Control key on your keyboard and use your mouse wheel, that will allow you to zoom in. Quite nice as well is if you press the Shift key on your mouse wheel, it'll help you move left and right. So that's really handy, especially if you're used to using a mouse. And I would suggest using a mouse. It is pretty handy for finding your way around. So once we've got our selection, we might want to zoom in a little bit to see how it is. We might move. We can click in a track and that sort of places our cursor in the track, so we can zoom in and out around that cursor. If we want to select a bit of audio from here, we can, if we remove our mouse so it changes to a little arrow, that allows us to drag and select from there. Equally, you can set your selection and the arrow will let you extend or shrink that selection for you. If I press play now, it will play inside the selection. Now what's really nice, I really like this, if I want to hear what's happening just before the selection, I can place my cursor there and use the B key and it will play from my cursor to the start of the selection. So it lets you hear that section before. Equally, I can do that at the end. I can hear what's going to sound after the selection to my cursor. And I can do that within the selection. So I can hear the start of the selection to my cursor and the end of the selected audio. Now that's really nice for when you're trying to get that selection just right. I really like that. Finally, once we've got our selection right, if we use the C key, it'll play a little bit before and a little bit after, so it'll let us audition what our cut's going to be like. So you can tell whether you've got your cut right. So really, really useful little things there. Now once we want to cut it, we can use the scissors up here. You can use Control and X on your keyboard and that will cut it. You can use Control and Z to undo. And equally, these are on the edit menu up here. Cut, copy, undo, redo. Okay. Again, once we've got our selection, one of the things I just discovered is if we edit and special, we can split cut or split delete, and that keeps the audio either side of it where it was, which is quite nice if you've got some audio, say, above it here that you want to hear, and it doesn't match these two up together. So that's a really nice thing as well. What else have we got? So let's put that back in. So say I want to record my voice now. I can create a track. I can add a new, I'm going to have a stereo track. It's going to put that in the bottom for me. So again, I might just move that up to the top so I can see what's going on. Now these tracks are a little bit difficult to see. You've got to go up and down all the time. So we've got a view option up here. View track size, fit to height is really nice. I can see all my 3 tracks together. I probably want to record just after the jingle, so I'm going to click my cursor there. I'm going to mute 20th Century Boy down the bottom here. I don't want to hear that. Maybe I want to hear the jingle coming out. Do I want to hear that? Maybe I don't right now. So I've got my cursor set there. I'm going to press record, and it should record my voice on this track. So, hello, welcome to my show. This is me recording just through the microphone on my laptop. I think it sounds okay. Let's play 20th Century Boy by T-Rex. I press stop, and that records my audio. So let's have a listen. Hello, welcome to my show. This is me recording just through. I might want to make that a little bit louder, so we can select this audio. Maybe I want to trim this bit off the front, so from what we were doing earlier, again, I can just select this bit of audio. With these buttons up here, I can trim it so I select just the bit of audio that I've highlighted. That's nice. That'll take the front and the end off. If I undo that, the other way this works, this one here will get rid of your selected bit and keep the ends. So I don't want to do that. I want to use that one. Now this bit is selected, I can normalise it. So using effects, this is where Normalise is. I can set that to -3 for speech. I'll just bring that up a little bit. And then I might want to move this just so that it does talk over the end of the jingle. So I can use this little tool here and just pop that in there. Let's unmute 20th Century Boy and put that kind of at the end. So I've got this little yellow line that matches up when I'm at the end. So that's cool. So let's have a quick listen to that. So again, I'm going to preview it from here.
E106.6.
Hello, welcome to my show. This is me recording just through the microphone on my laptop. I think it sounds okay. Let's play 20th Century Boy by T-Rex. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a gap, so we could just wiggle that to make that work. And to make that match up better, I might just move that track up. And I can see where it is. I can make this look a bit bigger, and I can make this look a bit bigger by just resting your mouse on there. I can zoom in maybe, and I can use my little bar down here just to make that fit. So I can make that line up better by T-Rex. Now if all my audio is nicely trimmed up, there's another nice way of doing this. So if we make my tracks fit to the height again, we select all tracks. What I really want to do is I want this to play first, the jingle, then me, and then T-Rex. So if I put that track to the very top, I put them in order this way, I can then go to tracks, align tracks, I can align them end to end, and then one will play after the other. So really, if I just click back to this tool, the selection tool, really I want to take this bit of audio out, and I want to do that again. Select all tracks, align tracks end to end. Now I won't get this kind of nice bit of talking over, but they will all line up nicely. Hello, welcome to my show. This is me recording just through the microphone on my laptop. I think it sounds okay. Let's play 20th Century Boy by T-Rex. So that'll do. So say we've done all of this and we're happy with our show. What we can now do is turn all this into one track. We've got a couple of things. If you want to save your work, you can go to File, Save Project. What that will do, it will save this kind of project with 3 tracks all lined up the way that you've done it. so you can come back and you can tweak it later, which is nice. The other thing you can do is you can export it as an MP3. You can export just selected parts of the audio, so you might just select one track, or you can do the entire thing. So that's another way to do it. What we might want to do with these 3 tracks is, now they're all selected, we could render them down. We can mix them. We can mix them into mono if we want to. We can mix and render them, or we can mix and render to a new track. So I'll just show you what that does. So down here now, we've got a new track with all 3 all kind of like tied up together. So that might be our final mix, our final thing that we want to edit. So I can just solo that, and if I export it, that's what I will get. I could just select this, and I could just export this selection. So it respects the muting of these tracks when you export it. So I go to File, Export as MP3, then I give it a name, my show, and then I can save it, and then I get a whole bunch of MP3 tags. So it's remembered the ones from 20th Century Boy that came in, so I can rewrite those. My show, April 2020, BCB music. I can put some comments in. My top show featuring, and so on. Get rid of some of these. Double click to get in there. Click OK, and that'll export it out for me. Okay, so that's a kind of a quick introduction to it. I guess a couple of other things we could do is, if I didn't want this track and I wanted these to all line up together, and this is a nice way if you're putting lots of tracks in and it's kind of getting a bit messy, we can take the mute off all of these. I can use the movement tool, and I can actually just move this up and line things up together. So there you go, they line up. If I want to stitch them together now, move these tracks, make this bigger so we can see. If we want to actually stitch them together, zoom in, you can click on that, and that creates them, that sort of sticks them. If I undo that, and these are called boundaries, so you can click boundaries, so you can join and detach things. So I could click here if I wanted to, using this tool again. I can click there, and I can create a clip boundary if I want to. I can split 2 bits of audio, and then I can move them about. If your gaps are big enough, make a big gap here, then things will move around each other. You can see that. Yep. So that's also a useful little thing sometimes. So you can see what I've done now is completely messed up my project. Is that my talking? That's the start 20th Century Boy. So we stitch back together. So now if I want to add another track, I could import some more audio, and I can have another track. I've only got one, and that comes down at the bottom, and I can move that around and make that the next track in my show if I wanted to. Okay, I think that's it for now. If you've got any questions, just ask us at BCB and we can help you out with it. There's loads of other things it can do, loads of effects under here. So your amplification, your normalizing, you can add a bit of EQ if you want to. Compression is quite a nice thing to do. Limiting is a nice way to deal with all those spiky bits of audio that you've had when you're recording. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do through there. I'm sure there's other things to do. Audacity is really well supported on the web. There's very big manuals. You have to be a bit patient just to kind of read through some stuff. But if there's something you want it to do, it will probably do it. You've just got to search and find out. Another thing that I've not had time to go into really is you can use this tool here to make things, to change the volume in a track. So the way you use this is you click and you create a tiny little dot like that, and then you can drag up and down. So you can see this is how you change your volume of a track. So that's lowering, and then even lower, and then I make a little dot there, and I can bring it all back up again. and you can drag these left and right. These are a little bit tricky. If you want to get rid of a dot, you drag it outside of the track and it goes away. So. Not a very good example, but you can kind of see how that works. That's the envelope tool, time shift tool and selection tool. All right, that'll do.